What's up guys and welcome back to another video. I believe you guys are having a nice time. Today I'll be taking you guys through the process of cutting and sewing this senator design in the front. I've gotten several requests and people sending me DMs of pictures of this kind of a design, so I decided to make it today. It's not difficult as you might imagine. So are you not curious of how we get to this stage in which I am doing right now? So let's go back a little bit to before we get to this stage, so I can take you guys through the process of doing this. If you like the video, just hit that like button, and if you're here to subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So let's go back a little bit and let's do this step by step. Okay, so first and foremost, this is the shirt. This is the borders that I just cut, as you can see in my hand. It has a cuff M, which is going to be like a shirt, right? Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do now is to measure the deep, how deep you want the design to be. So here I'll be having 15 inches. And the wideness of the chest is going to be 4 inches. You can see that. So I'm going to fold the fabric in which I'll be using for the front design. This is the first frame, the framing of the pleat. You know there is a pleat inside, but the frame, the thing that will frame the pleat, that's what we want to cut first. So all you have to do in this video is just to pay good attention. So I'll be cutting 15 for my depth. I'm just marking that actually. So I'll be folding half of an inch, a quarter of an inch at each of the side. So, you know we did 4 inches on the wideness, so I'll be cutting 4.5 on the fabric, right? So I'll be folding at the side of the frame. Don't forget that. So I'm marking 4.5. You can see in my hand. Let me just align the fabric. Just make sure you pay attention. I will keep saying this, it's very important. And make sure you do not jump the video, because if you jump the video, you might not get what you actually need to get in order to construct this. So I'll mark 4.5 here. You can see that. After folding my 4.5, I'm just going to iron it. And also I'm using this iron because I think Nigeria is messed up now. We are on generator back to back 247 and we have to work. So I'm using this iron because I'm working with chain, right? So after folding that, as you can see, so the next thing I'm going to do is just to place this. So now I'll be adding an extra half of an inch to this, to my depth for the fold, right? I'll be folding half of an inch at this place, so I'll be adding 15.5. That's from my neck circumference. I'll be adding 15.5, you can see. So I'll be able to like cut my neck and to cut out my shoulder. So you guys can see that. Let me align the camera very well so you guys can see, okay? I'm just going to cut this out. So I'm just going to trim the shoulder. So after trimming out the shoulder, I'll be able to trim out the chest itself. You can see. I believe you guys are going to enjoy this video. In case you try the design out and you want to share your results, just follow us on our Telegram. The link will be in the description. So this is the front side, as you can see. So here now, I want you to pay attention at the center part of the design, in which the pleat is going to be, as you can see. So here now, the design itself is going to be a total of 2 inches. But I'll be folding like a quarter of an inch at the edge of the frame itself, which is the edge of the frame itself. So I'll be cutting 1/3. I'll be cutting 1/3 right there. You can see it's not up to 2 inches. I'll be cutting 1/3 right there, so that I'll be able to fold at least a quarter of an inch at the M of the frame. This is the frame we are cutting. Don't forget that. So here the depth is going to be 13 inches. 13 inches. I believe you can see the markings and the chalk on the fabric itself. So next thing I'll just connect the lines together. I'll connect the lines together. I need to connect the lines together here also. You can see that. So I'm going to cut it out. Just make sure you're paying attention to the process. It's going to be very simple. You're going to love the video actually. And make sure you like the video. Just click the like button first. So I'm going to cut this side out also. So this is what we're going to have. This is the frame. This is what the frame is going to look like now. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut out the stay, the fusing. We have to fuse this thing that we just cut now. So in order to fuse this also, I'll be using a collar stay. That's where the Igbo instinct come from. The Igbo designs are always thick and very obvious. So it has to be like framed very hard. So I want you to pay attention to this. So I'll be using a collar stay. So the exact inches in which we have on the frame itself minus 1/4 of an inch in which we'll be folding around is what we're going to cut out. So I want you guys to pay attention to this one also. So I'll be folding out let me just measure it so yeah you can understand. So here from the down part, you can see what we have. We have 8 3/4. It's not up to 9 inches. 8 3/4. I'll be folding like 1/4 of an inch at the edge. So in order to cut that from there, I'll be minusing 1/2 of an inch, which will give me a total of 8 1/4. So on the stay, which is on the fusing, I'll be cutting 8 1/4 from here. 8 1/4. You can see that. I'm just going to tear it off. So after cut, so if I place this right here now, you can see that we have something we can fold on the edge, right? You can see that we have something we can fold on the edge. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut out the frame, which is the center part. So just align that center part also. Make sure it's aligned. You can see. So on the center part, we have 3.5, right? So in order to cut that center part on the frame itself, we're going to cut it deeper, right? So we'll be cutting 4 inches, which is 1/2 of an inch extra for the folding in, right? So in order to cut out the center part here, just pay attention. I'll be adding 1/4 of an inch to that also. So just align this place together. So here I'll be marking 2. It's supposed to be 4 inches, right? So I'll be adding 1/4 to that to give it enough room. So I'll be adding 2 1/4. You can see that. 2 1/4. You can see that. 2 1/4. And now the height of the depth of the design itself, the depth of the frame, the inner of the frame, I'll be measuring 15 inches. So I'm going to align this side together. Just measure the depth. That's from your neck side to where the design hole, the frame hole is. That's where you're going to place in between that side. You can see. You can see what we have. So this is what the design is going to look like. So if you take a closer look at it, if we place it on the frame, let me place it on the frame so that you can understand. So if we place it on the frame, you can see that we have what we're going to fold at the side, at each of the side of the framing itself. You can see that. You can see what we're going to have. So just place it like this, so we can have something to frame around. So we're going to iron it down. But first and foremost, at this end of the design, depending on the design you want to do, you can leave it straight or you can simply make a design at this down part. So in order to make a design, I'm just going to make a very simple design. You can see just a curve design, just this. This is what the design is going to look like. You see that? So at the wrong side of the fabric, I'm going to align this place. Make sure the other side is aligned too. And you leave the same gap at that side. So I'll be ironing it. So this is what we're going to have after ironing it. You can see what we have. The next thing you're going to do now is going to make a notch at this side. You can see that side, just that angle, I'll make a notch. Here also I'm going to make a notch. You can see that. It's very simple. I believe you are enjoying the video so far. If you jump the video, you might make a mistake. So make sure you don't jump it. So here, just trim that extension out also. You can see that. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to fold this like this. I'm going to iron it. I'm going to iron the frame down. You can see that. You can see that. And you're going to do the same thing on all of, if you look at the frame, you can see how smooth that is. So also this side, you're going to like iron it down and frame it. You can see that. You can see what we have now. You can see how smooth that is. So all you have to do is just to frame, do the same thing all around the frame. Do the same thing all around the edges. So all the edges, just frame it down. So this place has to be very sharp and make sure it's aligned very well. You can see. So after folding this, what we're going to have. This is what we're going to have. This is what the front side is going to look like. You can see. You can see that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut the design, which is the pleat in the frame. That's the pleat that will be inside of the frame. So first, here's our front. This is what it's going to look like in the front panel. So this is our fabric. These are our main borders. So I'm just going to place this so that you can have an idea of what we are doing in the long run. So you can see this is what the framing is going to look like. So all we have to do is just to cut the design in the center part and we can put our placket inside. So now depending, you can make your placket longer than this, or you can make it longer than the frame, or make it the size of the frame, depending on you. So let's cut that our pleat in the middle. So in order to cut the center part, I'll be using collar stay also, the same stay I used on that side. So I'll be cutting to 1/4. You can see that, by 6.5 inches, so that it's going to go underneath the frame and it's going to it will be stitchable, like it's going to be under of the frame. You can see. So now at this edge, I'm going to fold them together, and here I'm going to make a shape. Depending, if you cannot shape it, you can just use a pen to sketch it out before you make the frame. So this particular shape that I cut out now is what I'm going to use to cut out all the other pieces so they will be accurate. This first one that I cut is what I'll be using to cut all the other ones. You can see. So now after cutting it, we can simply place it like this under of the frame, and we can place it one after the other. So make sure you're paying attention to what I'm doing here, right? You have to pay good attention to what I'm doing. So let me cut the other one. So I'll be cutting like 10, 11 pieces of this. So we can use this to iron our fabric, and we can iron it to the fabric and use it to turn up the fabric. So after cutting all the pieces, as you can see in my hand, I cut like 12 pieces of this. So depending on design, you can do any kind of design you want. So I'm going to place it on the fabric. I'm going to iron it down. Depending on any design you can do with this particular frame that I'm ironing now. You can do any design, but I'm just going for this. So after ironing it down, I'm going to cut this fabric and I'll fold this backward. And I'm going to cut it out. So after folding it backward, let me just iron this so it's going to be straight and you're going to see it very well. You can see that. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to stitch this side all the way down. I'm not going to stitch the side, just the upper part all the way down. You can see that. Then I can simply turn it to the front and we can continue with our sewing. So after stitching that edge, I'm going to trim it out. You can see that. And simply turn it to the front. Just do a turn up and you give it a good ironing. You can see that. Make sure you push in all the edges. Make sure the edges are not obvious. You're going to iron it down. You can see that. So fold it up and iron it down also. You can see what we have. So I'm just going to trim out this excess at the side. So this part that has the stay is going to be the one that will be up, right? It's going to be the one at the top. So we can simply layer them one after the other. So iron it very well. Make sure all these edges are inside. Push them inside very well and iron it. So we're going to do exactly the same thing we just did now on all of these pieces right here. All the 12 pieces, you're going to do exactly the same thing. So this is what we're going to have. You can see how plenty this is. That's the issue with designing all this large design on senators and Igbo designs and stuff like that. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? So this is our fabric. So we're still going to have a placket inside, right? Don't forget that. So I just want to do the framing so that you can understand what we are doing, right? So fold this back together in order to get your center point. I'm just going to iron that place. I'm doing this so that you can follow along. You can understand what I am doing. That's why I'm taking you a little bit forward and a little bit backward, right? And I hope you guys are enjoying the video. So here, as you can see, this will be, you see, I already get the center point for the design itself. You can see all we have to do now is just place this. We're just going to start from the down part. So in this one also, don't forget, I'm going to use my hand to just get the center point. Just fold it. That's why if you're using a collar stay, it's easier to get the center point. So I'll be getting the center line of these gaiters. You can see that. I'm going to align them one after the other. You can see that. Get the center point. Just fold it backward. Get the center point. That center point is very, very important to get the exact curve that you're going to need. That's to overlap a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing all the way to the top. Make sure you get the gap also. Just like this, you can see that. You can see that. It's crazy. Well, I hope you guys are. So we're just going to align it one after the other. You can see, but we're going to do it. We're going to do that on the sewing machine, right? So I'll be adding one more to the top part so we can cut out our neck at that frame area. So I'm just going to place that. You can see. So I'm going to stitch it all the way down to this edge. I'll lift this one up and stitch it. I'll be able to take this one up like this. So make sure those sides are balanced, then we can stitch it all the way around. Then we can reframe our neck. So I can get my center point and put my placket in the center. So I hope you guys understand that. So let's go to the sewing machine now and do it. So you have to pay attention here also. It is very important. So first, before we go to the sewing machine, I'm going to use my pin to pin the frame down. You can see that other frame side is running away. It's running away from the fabric, right? Just pay attention. So I'm just going to frame that part. I'm going to pin it. You can see that. That place that is running away. I don't know why. So just align it very well. You can see, just align it and you can simply pin it down. So make sure the distance between that two sides is accurate. Then I'm going to pin the shoulder area. I just broke the needle. I just broke the pin, so let me. You can see that. Make sure it is straight. You can see. I'm going to pin that side also. So you can see what we have so far. So I can simply place my pleat and I can do it all the way down. Let me pleat this center side also. That's the side. Do it this side. You can see. And I'll be doing this side also. These are very important so that you not make mistake like one frame will be warping or something. So you can get. So let's go to the sewing machine now and we can start aligning this all the way to the last frame. As you can see, after stitching it all the way down, you can see that. So this is what this side is going to be. So just a white, so you might have this kind of issue. So it's still going to be washed before delivery. You can see that I stitched that side part also all the way to the up part. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to stitch the other frame side. So I can simply cut out my neck circumference. You can see that. So I'll be able to cut it from behind. So I'll be able to put my lapel at the center part. So let me stitch this side and show you what it looks like. So this is what we're going to have. You can see this. You can see what we have. Just take your time to give it iron. You can iron it from the back. You can sprinkle some water on it. So all I'll be doing now is to turn it. Let me turn it to the front. You can see that. So I'll be able to cut out my neck before applying my placket. So just iron this back side and sprinkle some water to make it balanced. So I can simply put my placket and that's about it. This is the result of what you're going to have after putting the pleat. So this is what we're going to have. So just trim out the neck and make sure it is balanced. That's very important. So just iron this back side. It's very important so that you're going to have a good look at the front. So I'm going to trim out my shoulder first. You can see that. I'm going to trim out this side also. You can see what we have. So from this back side, I'll simply trim out my neck. You can see that. So this is what we're going to have. You can see what the front is going to look like. So the next thing is just to apply our placket in the center. In case you don't know how to cut a placket, just check the channel. I have like 3 videos on how to cut a placket. So we have several videos on that. So just cut out your placket. And you can see this one is a little bit longer than the frame itself. You can see that. It's going to be longer than the frame itself. So I'm going to cut out the smaller part of the placket also. So in order to fix my placket, it's going to be at a depth of 5 inches. 5 inches. So I'm going to cut out the smaller part of the placket also. So let's go to the sewing machine and we can simply do that. So this is the smaller part. This is the bigger placket. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to stitch it to the next side. So pay attention to this side also. So I'm going to be sewing depth of 5 inches, as I said earlier. So from that 5 inches area, I'm just going to place my machine. I'm going to stitch it to the top. You can see that. I'm stitching at the center part. You can see that I have the gaiters at that center part. So make sure you're not stitching something else. You can see that. So after that side is stitched, this side also, let's place it like this. You can see that. And I'm going to stitch from that side also. I'll stitch it to the top. You can see. You can see that. So after stitching it, as you can see, I'm going to cut the center part. You can see. I'm just going to cut it at the center part all the way down. You can see that. And that place in which my notch stop, in which my stitches stop, I'm going to make a notch at that side. Let's cut it to the stitch. You can see that. And at the side also, I'm going to make it like this. So you can see what I have. So after that, when you turn this to the front, simply cover up the stitch. You can see that place. So I can simply stitch it. You can see that. Just stitch it all the way. So after stitching that part, you can see how smooth that place looks like. So you just turn the second placket to the front. Same way. You can see that. You can see that. It's going to overlap the smaller placket. You can see. So from this side first, I'm going to fold this backward and I'm going to start my stitch from where that smaller placket ends, right? You can see that. I'm just going to stitch it all the way to the top. You can see what we have. So I'm just going to come to the front side here. You can see. Can see that. Just going to stitch it. Make sure you are stitching on the center part. Make sure the placket is at the center part of the gaiters. That side is very, very important, right? Just straight down. Make sure it's at the center part. That place is very important. So here, I just want to trim out this excess under the placket. You can see that. You can see. I hope so far you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. Make sure you like if you're yet to click the like button. It helps the channels a lot to recommend it to more people that are watching. So just hit the like button right now. Just do that. So all you just have to do is stitch it to our first stitching, which we stitch on the smaller part. You can see. So this is what we're going to have so far. So all you just have to do now is just to cut your pipe, your neck. You can pipe it or you can use collar. I'll be using a bishop collar on this one. All those short collars, right? So this is what we're going to have. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumb up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So I'll see you guys on my next video, and do enjoy your day. You can watch the next video on the frame.